Hi friends, thank you for joining us in our continuing series of stories from the field. Today I invite you to listen to what Abraham and Sayuri Kist-Okazaki have to share with us. Abraham and Sayuri are ordained RCA pastors who work in evangelistic training for congregations in the United Church of Christ in Japan. Abraham and Sayuri work as associate pastors at Kugahara Church in Tokyo in the area of local mission. But they're also called by many churches and regional gatherings throughout Japan to evangelize and provide training so these churches and groups can more effectively reach out to non-Christians who make up 99% of Japan's population. Abraham writes music and creates animations out of scripture verses to reach out to younger generations and make the Bible familiar to them. Sayuri works with the National Church Women's Guild as one of the executive members, empowering women who serve churches faithfully. I pray that you are blessed by the ministry of Abraham and Sayuri. May God bless you all. Thank you for joining us.
Hello and greetings from the Kist-Okazakis in Japan. I'm Abraham.
And Sayuri.
And we've been RCA missionaries here in Tokyo since 1995. And this, for you as well, has been an incredibly challenging experience for the last 3 months with the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in Japan, the numbers are much lower than in the States, with about 17,000 people who have been have the disease and around 900 who have passed away from it. People are very good at wearing masks and obeying the different rules that the government has given, which has been really helpful. Japan has been mostly closed down since the beginning of April and is starting to open up now that June has arrived. And in Japan, the school year begins April 1st. So it was a challenge for schools to begin with the doors being closed. I teach Introduction to Christianity at Meiji Gakuin University and was kind of worried to have to learn how to give a lecture with Zoom and deal with students online that I've never met, because my students are all freshmen, so they've never seen each other face-to-face or me face-to-face. But I have found that it's interesting that students are much more willing to communicate with me and correspond with me through email than when they had met face-to-face. And so I've had a lot of interesting conversations about Christianity with my students.
Because sometimes students are so shy.
Yeah, they're so shy. It's also been interesting for our worship as well, having to do things online.
Yeah. And you've been making this evening worship service, bilingual worship service in online and pre-recorded videos so that we can reach out to the foreign residents and who's been living in Japan and speaking in English can reach out to the kind of worship service. And also those, surprisingly, so many numbers of non-Christians started to watch those Japanese church worship services, because in Japan the Christian population is less than 1%. And you might not be able to imagine, but that so many people has never had this opportunity to even enter the church building, because they thought it was so foreign to them. But it's because that this opportunity that the churches had to think about broadcasting online the worship service, because they can't gather at the worship service at the worship place. So, and the churches had never thought about such kind of broadcasting worship service, but now they have to. So there's so many, my non-Christian friends are just clicking to watch the worship service, and it's their first time for them to experience it. So I would say that this is a kind of huge opportunity for evangelism. And also that we are kind of having this interesting fellowship through this online.
Oh yeah, not just with Japan, but also with our churches back in the States. I've had chances to worship with congregations in Michigan and Wisconsin and New York, because now that they're worshiping online, I have a chance to worship with them.
Right, and also that there was one time that we could join on the fellowship time with the Community Church of Douglaston in Queens, New York City, and we just had a Zoom talking, and we never did that before, because before we just assumed that you are doing fine and we've been doing fine, and we didn't have to kind of try to get to fellowship, join a fellowship or anything.
But we've through this experience really feel closer. I mean, of course, it's not just online. We receive many cards and letters from our supporting churches as well, and we want you to know how much we've always appreciated them, but especially in these times, it's so wonderful to know that you are with us.
I don't know when we are going to visit you, but
yeah, with that's one of the worries we do have with this new restrictions on travel. What will happen in the future is something that we don't know. What we do know is, for me, that the 23rd Psalm has really been so meaningful for me. It's the whole idea that even the valley shadow of death, that the Lord is with us, and more than anything else, the Lord is guiding us, because there's so much uncertainty as to what's true, what's not true, what's dangerous, what's not dangerous. But what we know is that the Lord will lead us. God's blessings be with you.
Hope to see you soon.